Hi friends, today we are going to discuss email. Yesterday we are discussed the details of written communication and its qualities. Now we can see email, electronic mail and its importance and code of conduct that we have to follow while we are using email, etc. Let us see first what is email and what are the qualities of a good email, what are the advantages and disadvantages, etc. As we know, email is an electronic mail. It is widely used tool for business communication at the workplace or else. We know electronic mail is a written document that is sent via the internet to the recipient. There are many different advantages of email. Let us see one by one. First one, fast client communication. We know electronic mail is or email is a fastest way of communication, or its way to communicate with an important message to the client or a business associate who is located thousands of miles away. The main objectives or advantages of this email is to communication speed, and it is helpful for the attachment, or it is helpful or it is capable of attaching documents or even professional uh, document or videos or any other legal uh, messages. Then another important advantage, that is availability and portability. We know the convenience of email allows keep a file folders filed without papers. A number of file can be kept in folders when we are using email or electronic documents or electronic mail, instead of keeping bundle of papers. This is a very important advantages of email. Again, another important objective, that is it reduce shipping and mailing cost. As we know, sending of electronic mail is a free of cost communication method. Cost of internet connection is a mere cost behind this method of communication. Another important objective is that email communication is that we can send as many messages, files, videos, documents and presentation as we want without having to pay anything to the company or any other postal department, etc. In such a way, it reduces the shipping and postage cost as far as a company is concerned. The next one, vulnerability to loss. That is an disadvantages of email. Email have a number of advantages, but it is not free from disadvantages. Vulnerability to loss is a very important disadvantages of email. That means, suppose we are using black and white communication or paperwork communication, it is very difficult to destroy all the communication details or documents. Suppose we are using electronic mail, it can be lost with a simple hard drive crash. There is also a chance of loss the valuable data if it is stored as a email information to another server, or if the site is down or any other problems. So it's very good disadvantages of email. Then another one, that is accessible to others. That is related to the privacy issue of email. It is very easy, or it is possible that anyone could gain access or see your email by mistake or any other means. It can be accessed by hackers or any other person who intended to access the email and wind up in someone else's inbox. Even sensitive information or messages accessible to the even sensitive information is very accessible to hackers or even unsuspecting recipient when using emails. Then another important disadvantages of email is it's very difficult to interpret our emotion through electronic media or electronic mail. Because email do not have any voice infection or emotion that can help them proper interpretation. We can't express our feelings or frustration through the email communication. These are all the important disadvantages of email. Next, we can see what are the significance of email in business. We are discussing importance of communication in professional business. How to prepare professional communication in business. Let us see what are the significance of electronic mail in our business. It's very easy. A number of points are given in our slides. See one by one. First one, it is easy and fast. As we are discussed in our previous slides, it's a very fast and it is sent and received almost instantly, irrespective of the location and place of residence. It is a best method. It is useful for internal and external communication also. Another one, that is, it is important. It is very easy to retrieve. All types of email services provided by a search facility, and it will take only few seconds or moments for tracking down a specific message from the inbox. Date wise or name base or different means of searching is possible to trace our email, even if it has received in months back. The next one, that is economical. We have discussed this in our previous slides. Email is one of the cheapest way of communication for the business, both internally and externally. We need not pay any postage or any other fees for sending email. The next one, that is marketing. Email is a widely useful means of communication by the companies for efficient and effective effective and efficient or companies can use this email as a best means for making advertisement or making education about their products and services to the potential customers. The next, related to the confidentiality of communication. It's allow business professional private on-to-one communication. Emails gives new dimensions to the confidentiality. Then next one, that is security related. With the help of security protocol, we are already discussed many security problems or hacking problems are related with this electronic mail. Even though we are using some security protocols, email could be seen as a secure means of communication. The next one, that is internal communication. Email became the primary means of internal communication among organizations right from the beginning of its introduction. It is used for processing most work-related requests. Then next important significance, that is work group. Email helps in sending group mails. We can create a number of work groups and send these communications to the work groups. Then another one, that is a very important thing, that is alternative means of physical document presentation, or it is a very important means. Email is not just an alternative means of communication. It's not just an alternative means of communication, but it is an alternative to exchanging important physical documents. We can produce any document through email. We can send any videos or legal documents or any other reports, etc., through these means. So these are all the important significance of email in our day-to-day business operations. Now we can see another important novel terminology regarding email, that is email etiquette. Email etiquette means email that we know, electronic mail. Etiquette means it's a code of conduct. Email etiquette refers to the principle of behavior that one should use when writing or answering email messages, or it's a code of conduct for email communication. We know professional must follow email etiquette in their communication because it's a form of communication. And also a company needs to implement email etiquette rules only because of the three important reasons. First one, professionalism. Second one, efficiency. And third one, protection from the liability. Due to this reason, a company should implement email etiquette rules in the organization. Let us see first one, that is professionalism. Professionalism, as we have discussed in our previous videos, proper usage of email languages or wordings or sequential ordering, etc., can convey a professional image to the public. Then another one, that is efficiency. Efficiency means email that worded up to the point are much more effective than poorly worded emails that related to the wordings words we are using in our emails, that itself create or build some image about the company. Then another one, that is protections from liability. Employee awareness of email risks will protect a company from costly legal proceedings. So due to these professionalism, efficiency and protections from liability, due to these reasons, a professional company should or a good reputed company should follow some email etiquette protocol or email etiquette rules in the organization. The next we can see that email format rules, does and don'ts. We know while we are sending a communication through email, usually we are not following any format or any formalities, rules, or things can be done or things cannot be done, that is do's and don'ts. So let us see what are the precautions that we have to take before sending an email to the recipient, or a good professional email take care First one, before composing any email, we have to consider some important points which would like to discuss here. First one, that is identify the relevance. Before composing email, it is better to decide whether email is the right medium or a suitable medium for his or her communication. Sometimes instead of email, a phone call or a face-to-face discussion will be more productive than email. So before composing the email, we should ensure that electronic mail or email is the right medium for sending or communication. The next one, that is for to line, to address, to whom, to line is there. So the to field is the default place to write the recipient email address. If the message is sending to one person, it is essential to use to. If the same email is sending to multiple person, it is a little complicated. Then another important etiquette, that is CC line. CC line and BCC line we can see at the top of the mail menu. Suppose we are composing a mail, we can see a window for composing our mail. Top of the window we can see recipient address column, and below that we can see to column, and there is a CC column, and below that we can see BCC column, then subject column, etc. So let us see what is meant by CC column. CC means carbon copy. When we are sending a message to more than one address using the CC carbon copy field, both the original recipient and all the recipient of the carbon copies can see all the addresses in the to and CC field. Each person who receives the messages will be able to see the addresses of everyone else who received it. That's all about CC. Then another form of addressing, that is BCC. BCC means blind carbon copy. Blind carbon copying is useful when we are using, or it's way to let others see an email we are sending without the main recipient knowing. It is faster than sending the original message and then forwarding the send message to other recipients. It is a good method, it is a good etiquette to use blind carbon copying when copying the message to many people. Then another one, that is subject line. As we have discussed, there is a column to write subject. We know subject to convey the main point of our message or the idea what we want to communicate with others. If the subject line is clearly written, briefly written, legibly written, each recipient on the to line will have a clear understanding of the objectives of the message or the idea behind the message. So we have to bear in mind while we are writing our subject, the subject line should be clear, brief, and not more than 6 or 7 words. An important thing that we have to bear in mind while we are writing subject, never use capital letters. The next one, an important thing, that is salutation. Salutation means, we know, salutation means sender must ensure that the reader is comfortable and happy with our salutation. Otherwise, the salutation, the form of salutation of communication may not bring positive attitudes towards this communication. Salutation should be very careful in writing. It can be misunderstood by the recipient. It may be dear or hello or hi or something like that, based on the relationship, or it may be formal relation or informal relation. Suppose we are using formal letters, we can use sir, etc. Or we are using informal relations, or we are keeping informal relations, and let us use hi or hello, etc. So we should consider the type of email and the nature of email while we are making salutation. Then another important, that is content. Content is a very important part of our mail. Begin with a line of thanks. It's a very good method of writing email content. This in this starting helps them to make positive attitudes and read carefully, etc. And another important thing that we have to consider: organize the thoughts in a logical, or words in a logical consequence, or a logical sequence before writing down. In the first 3 or 4 lines of our email, we have to mention what email intended to communicate. And another again we have to bear in mind, our message should be clear and brief. Try to avoid the technical jargons and expand or lengthy communication through email. The next one, that is a tone. Tone in the sense that we have to, email is the easiest and fastest method of communication at the workplace, must have a formal tone to them. So there is always a higher chance of misunderstanding messages or emails, because words are not accompanied by gestures or body languages and facial expression, etc. So be polite, choose the words wisely, use proper punctuations, and avoid capitalizing all words. Then another one, use of languages. That means languages used in our mail is a very simple, and it's free from grammatical and spelling mistakes, and it is very easy to understand the meaning of the lines and sentences. The next one, that is writing a complaint. When making a complaint, should briefly state the history of the problems. That helps to provide context for your reader and explain the attempt made previously to solve the problems. That we have to consider. Then next, related to the attachment. When sending an attachment, tell the respondent that the name of the file or program it is saved, and the version of the program, etc. We have to mention what kind of files we are attached here, etc. Then another one, that is related to the privacy. Email is not and never has been private. So confidential information can be sent in blocked format, like PDF format or HTML format, or password protected format, or encrypted messages, etc. Then another one, that is check and review. Before sending the messages, we should read it carefully as if we were an outsider. If it is found long, we must try to shorten the email. Editing and proofreading must be done in all cases before sending it to the recipient. Once it is sent, there is no chance to review or there is no chance to edit what we have sent to the recipient. The next one, that is response time. A professional organization should follow this response time. Good email etiquette includes responding to the business communication as soon as possible or as early as possible. Each email should be replied within at least 24 hours, or preferably within a same working day, that we have to consider to reply or email. Then the last one, that is the closing. Closing means it's very important because it's useful to the reader know whom is contacting them. So we should enclose our name, professional address or designation, office address, communication numbers or mail ID, etc., etc. A professional signature make it easy to contact you. Your mail or email account can automatically add these data to the bottom of our email, like professional name or a name or designation, place of residence, place of office, etc. All these helps to make our email communication in a good or professional manner. So these points or these areas that we have to consider while we are making while we are using email as a professional means of communication in an organization. Okay, let us conclude here today our discussion. Thank you to all.